Topography and Climate, Part 1. In Israel, the climate and topography vary widely from one region to another. Being aware of those differences of climate and topography enhances our understanding of the Bible. Generally, the land of the Bible is not very fertile. It is located on the edge of a desert. The northern areas of this land get much more rainfall than the southern areas. Israel is just north of one of the biggest deserts in the world, so the southern part of Israel receives very little rain. But as you move from the south to the north, there is a change to a much better climate. The central and northern parts of the country have a nice climate which is good for farming. As discussed in Deuteronomy 34, Moses climbed up Mount Nebo from the Jordan Valley. This was a steep climb of about 1,200 meters. From there, God let Moses see the land the Israelites were to live in. To the west, Moses saw the coastal plain. The coastal plain was flat and sandy. It was broken up in some places by small streams flowing from the eastern hills into the sea. Eastward were the foothills. They were a bit higher in elevation. Continuing eastward was a ridge of higher hills. The biblical text sometimes refers to these higher hills as mountains. This ridge starts with Mount Gilboa in the north and continues to Hebron in the south. Then from there it goes down into the dry Negev plateau towards Beersheba. On or near this ridge stood the ancient cities of Shechem, Bethel, Jerusalem, and Hebron. It was an important route for north-to-south travel. In ancient times, the hills of this central ridge, as well as the valley of the Jordan River, were covered with forests. To the east of the ridge, the elevation drops off sharply down to the Dead Sea. This is the lowest spot on Earth, at over 400 meters below sea level. Continuing east from the Jordan Valley, the topography again rises to a high plateau in the area of Transjordan. This plateau includes Mount Nebo and stands higher than the north-to-south ridge, which is west of the Jordan Valley. For the people of Bible times, the direction of orientation was where the sun rose, in the east. In Hebrew, there are two names for the east. One means the place where the sun rises. The other name simply means forward. Cultures and languages vary widely in their understanding of certain terms that describe the elevation of various places. It is useful to see what certain areas looked like in the land settled by the Israelites. Many of the areas that are called mountains in Hebrew would only be called hills in other cultures. Mount Hermon in the north and Mount Sinai in the south are very high mountains whose tops can be covered with snow. But Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal near Shechem and Mount Tabor in Galilee are not very high at all. Mount Zion in Jerusalem, where the temple was built, is actually lower than most of the surrounding area. The area around the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus was thought to have given the Sermon on the Mount, is actually below sea level. Most of the streams in Israel are seasonal streams. They flow through wadis and ravines after seasonal rains and then dry up. One of the few rivers in Israel that flows all year long is the Jordan River. The Jordan is Israel's largest river, but it is never more than a few meters across and only 2 or 3 meters deep. In the Old Testament, many events are said to have taken place in the hill country, but hill country could easily describe most of Israel, so the exact location must be specified. For example, the hill country of Ephraim.